It's an honor and a pleasure to be with you this morning. As you know, Jordan introduced me. My name is Tiki Davis. And this is not going to be your traditional PowerPoint. We don't have any slides. We don't have anything today like that. But I'm going to challenge you with the time that we have together. Just give me your participation and open up your hearts, because I want your heart to be the canvas and my words to become a paintbrush as I take you down this journey, as I share my life with you. Okay? What I want to talk about is a young boy growing up in a West Texas town known for football and oil that wanted to shape and change his energy. Energy. I had one dream. How many of you here had a dream in your life? Raise your hand. I had a dream, but I understood at an early age I needed help with my dream. And as a 7-year-old boy growing up in the projects, the only person that could help me with my dream was my mother. And I went to my mother and I said, Mama, if it ain't too much to ask, for Christmas, can you get me a football? Because when I grow up, I want to be a football player. And my mother had this look in her eyes if she could fulfill this request for her boy. It wasn't because my mama didn't have a job and my mother didn't have money. At this particular time in our life, she had both. You've all seen my mom before, out in front of Walmart's, Walgreens, ringing the bell for the Salvation Army. That's what she did, but depending on what she did with her money, when she got paid, determined if me and my brother had a Christmas. But in that back room, it was a Christmas tree that didn't have many decorations, didn't have many ornaments. But under that Christmas tree was 2 presents wrapped in newspaper. One was a basketball and the football was for me. And I ran in that complex and I would grab that football, trying to become my dream. That was the only thing that could change the energy in my life, my environment. So I go around outside and I play in the complex all day long, trying to become this dream because my mama put the ball in my hand. My mom said it was possible. A week later, she comes to me and my brother and says she's going out for the evening. If you boys need anything, go to the neighbor's house. And we said, yes, ma'am, and make sure you're in the house before it gets too dark. My brother says he's gonna go next door and play Nintendo because this is the year Super Mario came out, and my brother was super fascinated with saving the princess, you know. So I asked my brother, play with the ball with me. He says, no, that's your dream. Understand, in this thing called life, people are gonna give up on you on your dreams. That day was my brother. So I play outside with the ball by myself, and it's dark, so I decide to go home. I leave the door unlocked for my brother and my mother to come home because today we only have one key to the house, and today I have the key. And I go upstairs to get myself ready for bed. And I walk upstairs and I sit in my twin bed and I'm getting ready to lay down, and I'm laying down in my bed. I hear footsteps coming down the hallway. This man comes in and he sits on the edge of the bed like he's gonna read me a bedtime story. Y'all asked me, was I afraid? No, I'm not afraid, because I'm used to seeing people and come and go in this place that I call home. And he sits on the edge of the bed and he says, boy, where's your mother? She stole my money. And before I could answer the man, he grabbed me and wrapped the bandana around my neck to begin to squeeze this positive energy out of me. Then all I want him to do is let me go so I can go chase this dream to become a football player. Then he finally lets me go. And I begin to gasp for air and gasp for air. Then he grabs me by my head and stabs me in the neck with a screwdriver. Now this positive dream is starting to bleed out of my neck. But my question is to you, I don't know what you're going on personal in your life, but what's squeezing the positive energy out of you? Now, I'm 7 years old, I see my dream slipping away, I see my life slipping away, that my mama gave me the ball. Then I'm thinking, what else can he do to me? Boom! The first punch knocks me out. Boom! The second punch wakes me up. Now he's knocking the positive energy out of me. Tiki, how do you see the dream slip away? The identification, the symbolization of the dream was the football. As he's hitting me, the football rolls out of the bed. So I decided to fight for my dream, not my life. I decided to fight for my dream. My mama gave me the ball. She said I could change my energy in my neighborhood, so I decided to fight for it. So as the ball rolls up under the bed, so I slide down the wall in the bed and up under the bed. I can smell the bleach, the Comet, the Pine Sol, the Ajax that my brother and my mother and myself cleaned for government housing. And I'm feeling the pressure that my mama's gonna kill me because I got blood on her floor, because she told my brother, if we go back to the streets, don't blame me. So imagine that pressure that I had on me, that I got blood on the linoleum floors in the projects, and we're gonna get through out, we're gonna be back on the street, and it's on me for something that she did. But the only thing that keeps me alive, they say, Tiki, do you ever remember the man that attacked you? I absolutely remember what the man did look like he attacked me because he was standing next to my dream. I remember the bottom of his blue jeans and his snakeskin boots because it was standing next to the football, and he panics and he finally turns and runs. And I hear the back door slams. So I run from up under the bed and I pick up my football and I hold it close to me. And I go next door where my brother's playing Super Mario, and I bang on the door. My brother answers the door and I fall in his arms. And I tell my brother, don't save the princess, save me. Same boy in that city, 17 years old, known for football and oil. I'm running back #1 at my local high school, but that career was over as quick as it started because I was accused of a crime. And I went to jail at 17 looking at a life sentence. But when I went to jail, there was somebody waiting on me in my jail cell because she was on her way to prison for murder. It was that lady that put the ball in my hand. And I walk into the visitation room and I said, but mama, I didn't do what they said I did. I can get life. And she said, baby, me too. So my mama was 37. She couldn't love her 17-year-old boy. So now the dream, the energy that I wanted to change in my life has shifted in a negative direction because my mother gave up on me, I felt. So I went back to my jail cell and I told everybody in my jail cell, when I get out of here, I'm going to college. When I get out here, I'm going to the NFL, and they laughed at me. They says, Tiki, nobody gets out of here and go to the pros. I said, I'm different. 6 months later, I got out. I started working at a local dealership, making $5.25 an hour because the only thing that I could get at the age of 18 was a car washing job. Nobody would invest in me. But I understood people are watching you no matter what the level job you have. So I did that for 2.5 years, and the owner of the dealership was paying attention to my work. And he came to me and he says, Tiki, I did some checking about you. I want to invest in you. I want to send you to college. So that next year I found myself at a university again, scoring touchdowns. This dream of NFL was an option again. My mama dream became an option again. But of 2 years playing football at a small university, I had to look in the mirror, and many of you have done this, athletes, mothers, fathers, execs. You had to look in the mirror and ask yourself, was you good enough to go to the next level? So I had to make a decision at 23. I had to put down the helmet or put down the football and pick up the books. Because I realized I just didn't want to be a player in the field of athletics. I want to be a player in life. The only reason I'm in this room today is not what I did on some football field, it's what I did in life. I became a player. But how did I do it? It's the T in the Tiki Factor. The first principle I'm going to share, and I'm going to break it down a little bit later. When I put down that football, I wasn't afraid to switch helmets. What do I mean by switching helmet? I put down the hard hat, and I had my ultimate success in this thing called oil and gas. I switched helmets. And when I switched helmets, that's when I started to have success. But now let me pivot back to this story where it started. This lady that put the ball in my hand, she's in prison for murder. I get a call on the other end, and it's my mother. But I haven't broke the news to mama that we're not going to the NFL. I'm not going to be able to buy you this house. The phone rings, and ring, ring, ring. I answer the phone. I said, hello? She says, Kevin. I said, no, Mom, it's me, Tiki. She says, oh, baby, you sound so mature. You sound so good. I said, Mom, I'm a man now. She said, you sound good. But I said, Mama, I got some good news and I got some bad news. She says, well, give me the bad. I said, well, Mama, I'm not going to be able to buy you this house. We're not going to the pros. When you gave me that football as a little boy, the dream is over. She said, well, son, that's not so bad. Now, Mama has accepted my new dream, the new why. So I'm feeling good because you know how it feels to break the news to Mama about anything that may disappoint her. I was no different. Then I said, but Mom, I got some good news. And she said, what is that, boy? I said, I'm going to be the first person from the projects to graduate college. She said, well, that's good. She says, well, hush up now, boy. I got some news. I said, what is it, Mama? She said, I'm going to be there. I just made parole. So now I'm excited. Mama accepted my new dream. Now she's made parole. Now she's going to come out and be there with me. She says, I got some instruction for you, son. She says, I need you to send me $40. She said the first 20 is to get a medical report because Mama's sick. And the second 20 is I'm working in the kitchen at the prison and my feet have swelled up so much I can't bend over and tie my shoes. So I need you to send me the $20 so I can buy me some new tennis shoes with the Velcro straps. so I can continue to wash dishes until I get out. I said, yes, ma'am. But she said, lastly, son, she said, the warden of the prison is going to be calling you about everything, where to deliver my property and the address for me to parole to, son. Can you do that? I said, yes, ma'am. She says, I love you and I'll see you soon. December the 31st, 2001, like clockwork, I'm in East 11th Street in Odessa, Texas. I'm waiting on the call from the warden. The warden calls me. I said, hello? She said, this is Warden such and such. She says, this Tiki Davis? I said, yes, ma'am. She said, son, I just want to let you know that Karen has expired. I said, I know, Warden. My mama said that you're going to be calling. I know her time has expired. She said, son, you don't understand. What do you want to do about burial arrangements? So on the day that my mother was supposed to be released from prison, we were in Huntsville, Texas, having a funeral. There's no excuses why you can't be successful. So what I did, I mourned for one day, then I had to go back to school. The standard was still the standard. I still had to graduate because what lives on with my mother is me. So I went back to school and I became the first person in my family to graduate college. Then I'm still on a 10-year probation for a crime I never committed. I go in front of the judge and I say, Judge, I got a degree from college. Can you let me off probation? The judge says, no, son. So the system forced me to go back to school, get more education, and I worked on my master's degree. First person in my family ever get a master's degree from college. But in the midst, with a master's degree, I still can't find employment. I fell out hundreds and hundreds of applications. Nobody would hire me. And I'm thinking about going back to my neighborhood and selling drugs like my cousins. But I prayed to God. I said, God, if you give me one opportunity and show me something better, I won't do this. So I'm at a local barbershop getting a haircut. Houston Chronicles there looking for this guy named Booby Miles. And I'm hearing him talk, and I go up to the guy and says, why are you looking for Booby Miles for? I was better than him. He said, who are you? I never heard of you. I was serious. But anyway, he says, nobody's better than Booby Miles. And he said, who are you? I said, I'm Tiki Davis. He said, if you're so good, they're filming this movie called Friday Night Lights at the stadium. And if you're good enough, they'll hire you as an extra to be a football guy. So I went out there. If anybody knows me, I have my own confidence. And I went out there and I tried out and I got hired as an extra. I was making a cool $100 a day. And I did that for about 3 weeks. And I was paying attention to my surroundings. And when I was in school, I studied theater. And my theater teacher said, Tiki, an audition is like a first impression. You never get a second chance. So I was waiting on my time. And Peter Berg, the director, opened up an open audition. It was a room full of great athletes to be the Dallas Carter team captain. And I beat out of a room of 100+ guys to win the role in the movie Friday Night Lights. So I took that $100 a day to $7,000 a week, and God blessed me in that moment. That made me enough money to get me through graduate school. And then when I graduated, finally, one oil company called Frac Tech Service gives me a job as a field engineer. But they said, if you're good enough, we'll make you a full-time engineer. So my first job in the oil and gas business as a field engineer, they started me at $13 an hour with a master's degree. But they didn't know who they were dealing with. They sent me to engineering school, so I learned Myers, Frac Pro, all the engineering technology that was going on at the time, sent me out there on frac jobs. I learned the Sand King, the hydration unit, everything. And I became the best engineer in the world. So I took that $13 an hour in a 6-year period. I was working for the #1 wildcatter in the world, Clayton Williams Jr., and I ran his operation for 7 years. He was paying me $1 million a year. From a young boy that wanted to change his energy from Odessa, Texas, with a blemish on his background, determined to fight for a better life. And like Jordan says, once I started making money, I went back to that community that I got stabbed in the neck, then I bought up affordable housing. I built a few new ones, I flipped a few ones, and I went to the failing black business in the community, Sam's Barbecue. I bought the restaurants. And I wanted to become something positive because I have a daughter and she was looking up to me. But the most important thing wasn't the money that I was making, it was this thing that I got at birth that my mama told me was positive. So I went back to that court system 25 years later and I said, we still got some unfinished business. I said, it's my name. It's my name. My lawyer that was representing me, he says, Tiki, why do we need to do this? You're rich now. I said, like I said, sir, it's my name. And finally, after 25 years, we go back and we petition the court, and the state of Texas overturned that case against me. And I got my name back when I was 40 years old. But write this down. How did I do it? My name is Tiki Davis. I came up with the Tiki Factor principles to help people be better in their life, because it doesn't really matter how I did it unless you're going through things in your life and you need to know how to do it in your life. My name is spelled T-I-K-I. The T stands for total commitment. I had to make a total commitment to my life. I had to make a total commitment to my hopes and my dreams. The next thing is imagination. I had to learn to live from my imagination and not my history. My history said I would die in prison like my mother. My history says I wouldn't be a first-generation millionaire. My history says I'll be in a wheelchair like my cousin, but I wanted something different for myself, so I live from my imagination and not my history. You can do the same. And the next thing is K, kindred spirits. The people around you affect you. Depending on who they are and what they do, it's gonna affect you in that type of way. And the last I, invest in yourself. Invest in yourself. I invested in my education and I invested in my environment. I changed the negative energy into positive energy to become who I am today. I became the Tiki Factor. My time is up, and I thank you for yours. I'm Tiki Davis, the Tiki Factor. Thank you.